Welcome to the BVTV Network, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. This is episode 3 in the BVTV Next-Up Trilogy with unretirement expert and author. Welcome back, sadly for the final time, Victoria Tomlinson. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Malcolm.
Oh, by the way, I said the final time. I meant the final time for this trilogy. You don't think you're going to get it. You don't think you're going to get away with leaving us at BVTV with all your brilliant expertise there. So be prepared to get pestered by us to come back again.
I'm always happy, Malcolm. Thank you.
Victoria, I'm a half full person, never half empty. I'm always never problems, always opportunities. So in this episode, let's leave challenges behind. Let's switch our discussion to talking about the many opportunities I firmly believe exist in unretirement. So where can you take us with this?
Okay, so the business that I've had, it's been evolving. We're on about our 5th business model, Malcolm, because I think that's what anybody does when you start a business, isn't it? But what we're now doing is helping organizations to inspire people before they retire. And I think this is where the big opportunity is to, I think once upon a time, people thought retirement was, we mustn't bother people once they've retired. Whereas now, actually, what people are wanting is to be bothered, if you like.
Yes.
And I think what they would love to do is to be invited back. And I don't think employers have woken up to that. And actually, don't just make it the cliff edge everyone talks about when you leave some kind of corporate or organization. And I think there's opportunities as people come up to retirement to mentor and support younger people hugely, to get involved in communities. And people are good at these sorts of skills at this age.
Yes.
But I also think, I don't know if you saw a TV program a few years ago now, and they took 4-year-old children into a residential home. And at the start, the people in the residential home, they were just sitting there. They were measured for levels of depression, and it was really quite bad, if I'm honest. Then they brought in these little litties from the nursery, and it was so sweet. And the classic was, I think he was called Ted, and Ted had a wooden leg. And the little girl went up to him and said, "Come on, Ted, come and play." And he said, no, I can't because I've got a wooden leg. She completely ignored that. It doesn't matter to her. She said, "Come on, Ted." And she took him, and the next thing you saw them rolling around, he was being a tiger on the floor. He was perfectly able to get involved with her. And what I think an older generation has is they have that experience and the calm to help younger people. And we had that in spades. As COVID hit, we were doing some things around helping entrepreneurs, older people, mentoring them. As COVID hit, we launched a platform and we got all sorts of people mentoring younger. And what was happening, the younger generation had never seen anything, well, in fairness, none of us had seen anything like that before. But for them, it felt like Armageddon. And there was a massive panic going on. Whereas the older generation, okay, we hadn't seen COVID, but we'd seen massive recessions. I seen my business wiped out overnight. And we kind of knew the world will go on. Right, let's help you. Let's deal with what we can do with now. Let's think calmly. Let's plan for when things pick up again. And let's just keep our heads together. And I can't tell you how many of the younger entrepreneurs said it was brilliant because it just got me into, right, let's deal with what I can deal with and not worry about other things I can't. And that's where I think there's so much that we can share between the generations. And I'd love to see more of that, Malcolm.
Yeah. Now, let's just follow through some of the things you were talking about there. For example, the older generation, I think we've got the social skills that the younger generation doesn't have now because they're so busy on the phone. And it was a leading bank that told me, we teach them how to use the ATM to get the cash out. But when they've got to talk to a bank manager to get a loan, they don't have the social skills to do it. Now, we've always, older people, we've had to do it. We've had to have those social skills. So that's one area that I think that those people who've left a company can actually go back in and provide those skills. Yeah, I've something got resonating in my mind. Something that was in one of those films about in Judi Dench, I think it was, or something like that, or teaching people in India in the
Oh yes, exotic marigold hotel, wasn't it?
Marigold, that's
Yes,
it.
yes,
Yes,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah. And so
That's such a
it
good
was so
example.
spot on,
Yeah,
that, wasn't it?
it was.
So what else? What else? We've got social ability there. What else do you think?
Well, I think you've got a realism about life, actually, dare I say. And you never want to stop the enthusiasm of the younger generation, and sort of not seeing problems, I think, is brilliant. But one of these, I'm thinking about an event where we had in a room, this was pre-COVID, we had the entrepreneurs and the experienced generation is what I call them, or the unretired, with them. And I was going around when they were kind of mentoring in sessions and listening to what was going on. And I could hear several corners, someone saying, I'm sorry, I just don't understand what your business is. And the youngster was trying to explain it. And they had been in a bubble with people who knew what they were talking about. And actually they hadn't been able to test it on, if you like, the outside world. And I thought then, and of course, a lot of them will be pitching, as you did, Malcolm, to banks and others who are that older generation on the whole.
Yeah.
And actually, you need to be able to explain and articulate it to them. And sometimes we do little mini Dragon's Den sort of things when they pitch the business and say, would you invest or not? And so often it's, I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're doing or why. So I think that can be really helpful, that sort of sound check, or the kind of sense checking a business there.
Now, I'm going to be a little bit provoking here, Victoria.
Like yes.
Yeah, are you ready?
Yes.
I think us older people understand trust and honesty.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that.
By the way, I must tell viewers we're recording this on the day that Boris Johnson has resigned, but that's got nothing to do with it. I'm saying, we grew up in a way where we had to understand trust. Yes, there would be the Wolf of Wall Street still around, but we weren't there. We established our life, our family, or whatever it may be, on trust.
Yes, and I'm thinking about, I've got a tender in my office at the moment, and I'm thinking it's rather a shame the way they've done it, because it's not about trust and honesty. It's actually not trusting each other. And I'm thinking, I think there are better ways to do business, and I wish I could go in and help people. It sort of feels clever to be heavy-handed. I just don't think it's the best way to get the best out of people, really. So I couldn't agree more. And I think trust and honesty, if you get it right, it makes the world go round. Everybody helps each other. It's a good way to do business. It really is.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Victoria. Now, let's give for a final time viewers and listeners details of your URL, which obviously viewers you can see on the screen behind me, but for listeners, let me spell it out. It's all the W's, next-up.com, next-up.com. Victoria's podcast is called Rethink Retirement and helps people with inspirations and ideas for unretirement. I spent many years in the wilderness of rejection with my silverpreneurs concept, but I passionately believe in the skills and ability that we have as we reach what some call third age. It's been an enormous pleasure to meet Victoria Tomlinson, who is delivering such expert support to us unretirees. Thanks, Victoria, for a great BVTV trilogy.
Thank you so much, and good luck for your program. It's fantastic. Well done.